Welcome to the Biz To Biz Podcast, your number one source for all business news.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of B2B Vault. So in today's episode, I have CEO and founder of Aiden Snell Media. And we're going to chop it up today. We're going to talk about branding, social media, content. These are hot subjects right now. Everybody's trying to figure out what to do in their business, whether you have a small business, a medium-sized business, or maybe you're a content creator or you're trying to create content for other businesses or your own business. We're going to get some great advice here today from Aiden. Aiden, welcome to the show.
Alan, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
All right. So when did you start your company?
Yes. So I started my company in July 2022. I officially opened up the LLC. But honestly, Alan, I've been making money with the camera years before then, right? I picked it up and, I thought I could go about, selling my services without having all of the paperwork in order, just like anybody just starting a business. I didn't know what an LLC was. I didn't know how to open it up. And so I was just like, hey, I've got this camera. I can create for you this product. I can fulfill on this service and, you can pay me money. And so that's how I was operating for a while, doing music videos for some of my buddies. I remember first starting off taking photos. Originally, I got bored of photos. And so I wanted to start doing videos. I was just always creative, right? And so moving on from there, I was like, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. I quit my job and I really went all in on myself. And this was the beginning of my entrepreneur journey. So I opened up my LLC. And what inspired me to do so was actually social media. I was scrolling, and this is the time around COVID, right? And I was scrolling and I came across an ad where these individuals were teaching other people how to pick up a camera and how to start selling videos. Right. Because you remember, like during that season, everyone was on their phone. Short form media blew up. Like TikTok took over the world and everybody is scrolling on these apps. TikTok had the short form content. Then if you remember, Instagram came out with Reels and then Facebook did the same. And so everyone was just like there was this new era of marketing.
Even YouTube now has shorts.
Yep. Even YouTube. And so during that era, I was like, how can I take advantage of this? And boom, an ad popped up right there. Hey, learn how to sell short form videos, right? And run a media company. And so I took that course. I learned everything from sales to generating the type of content that can produce results for business owners, all the way to, actually producing these videos, scripting them, right? Creating them from what was once an idea all the way to a finished product to publish on social media. And so after studying that course day in, day out, I was in New York for 3 months. I actually, because of COVID, my family split up. I lost the house that I grew up in for 20 years. And I moved in with my grandma. And, I dropped out of college at the same time, too. Broke up with my girlfriend. It was just a mess. Life sucked at this point. So all I was doing was studying, how do I get into business and how do I get out of here? Right. So for 3 months, every single day, I was studying, practicing. And then one day I said, you know what? This is not in the area I was in New York. This is not the area that is going to motivate me, that is going to get me to the next level. I need to make a move. I need to make a jump. I need to get my back against the wall. And so I drove to Miami, Alan, with $0 to my name. Cleared out my bank account to get to Miami, really started up my business, started putting myself out there as soon as I got to Miami, and things just blew up 3, 4, 5 months later, right? To the point where I could really sustain myself. And that's where I'm at now. I've been able to just get into some really great rooms, help out individuals and entrepreneurs, really take their content to the next level so that they can share their message, right? And that's what we specialize in, is essentially taking that entrepreneur, helping them grow their personal brand, helping them create the type of content that's going to leave an impact, that's going to get that viewer to take some type of action, whether that's buy something, whether that's drop a follow, right? We focus on really delivering results through the content that we create for our clients.
And I'm sure that you notice like a big difference in like when you formed your LLC and you took like that next step. Like that's always like the thing with people. They start this side hustle, right? that they want to be a business. And then when they finally take the steps to like make a business and you start to get into, I'm sure you had to deal with bookkeeping. It's always a favorite subject of mine.
Okay.
Like keeping your books, straight, not commingling your funds. And, when you actually form your business, that's one of the things that people start to realize is, wow, I can really make a lot of extra money because if I'm managing everything correctly from a business standpoint by not mixing personal and business funds, keeping all my expenses separate, and really, profiting from having a business versus, not really doing everything, in a business fashion. And also, I think people take you more seriously when they look you up and they say, oh, this guy actually has a company, right? Versus just some guy hustling on Fiverr and stuff like that.
Yep, exactly. Huge difference. Huge difference. I look back to those days when I first started up business, man, I didn't know what I was doing. And not a lot of people do. In fact, I would argue that nobody truly knows what they're doing. We're all just figuring it out along the way, right? And so, that's what allowed me, I feel like, to excel was the fact that I understood that very point that I didn't know what I was doing as an entrepreneur. All I knew was that I was talented, I had a skill, and that I would continue to work on that skill. And I knew as long as I would put one step in front of the other, God would continue to reveal the path, right? As long as I continue to take action and have faith that it was going to work out. And that's exactly what happened. When all odds were stacked against me, God made a way simply because I decided to show up every single day and just take action.
Yeah, I think social media is really, is going through like a little change right now. We're starting to see, some real shifts into the internet. Let me ask you what you think about this. So I was reading some, I like to read like online and see what people are talking about, and one of the things I started reading is that, Google is really worried. And then I see they're very worried about ChatGPT and they're worried about the search feature. And then I go to see that Elon Musk took his AI company and like somehow combined it with X, formerly Twitter, right?
Wow.
And I found that to be a super interesting move based on what I've been reading about, that people are going to ChatGPT. And if you notice down on the bottom now, they actually, if you pay, you get a lot of extra stuff now. So there's actually a search feature, will search the internet.
Yep.
Then they added a second feature where it'll actually, you could ask it a question like, compare these three products, right? And we'll literally compare three products and give you a whole breakdown, pulling sources and everything. I actually tried it the other day. It was crazy. I was like, oh, here's three POS systems, right? And give me the breakdown and put it in a table, like feature-wise, how much inventory can they support and things like that. So it's absolutely crazy the amount of information and data that you can get from that. And I think Google's a little worried that people are going to start searching in ChatGPT and stop searching on Google. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're not using AI, if you're not using ChatGPT, you're absolutely bugging. Like, you are tripping big time. Seriously. I don't even really use Google anymore, honestly. Any questions that I have, I go straight to the G. I ask it, hey, who was this character in The Chosen that got replaced? Simple stuff like that. Like,
Right.
I'll ask it, hey, create a workout plan for me this week. I really want to blast out my chest. I'll ask it, hey, I need to create a 30-day content strategy for one of my clients. Here's the sales call and all the information you need, right? I literally have a ChatGPT for every area of my life, Alan. I have a ChatGPT for my spirituality. I call it spirituality GPT. I have a fitness GPT. I have a health GPT. I have a sales GPT. Anytime I take a sales call, I take the transcript, put it in ChatGPT, and it coaches me on what I could have done better, right? So I'm in there every single day, right? And I barely use Google. Like, Google should be worried because AI and ChatGPT are going crazy, especially with the new features that they're adding, like the deep search. There's even AI where I can literally type in who is Alan Kopelman and it'll give me a breakdown of who you are. You know, somebody who might not be a huge public figure, it'll just scrape the internet. It'll tell me Alan has a company called B2B Vault. He's got a podcast, and I can leverage that information to chat with you, right? I can search up, what was Alan's last post, and it'll tell me his last post. And then I hop on here like, hey, Alan, I saw your last post, da, 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 da. And, like leverage that in a way to, build relationships. And I know a lot of people are doing that with outreach as well. When it comes to outreach, so many people in the business world, they're getting used to it. They're not opening up messages on Instagram because everything is a pitch. These outreach messages, in fact, can get super out of control with Facebook and Instagram. And a lot of people are ignoring them. But when you can include AI in those outreach messages, and you can, include Perplexity, where Perplexity is going to study that individual and create like a personalized outreach message, man, your chances of having that outreach message be seen and opened are just 1,000 times greater than what the rest of the world is doing. And so I think 100% AI, Google should be worried. Google.
There goes Rocky. No, yeah, AI is definitely, I tell everybody, people say, oh, AI is going to replace humans. No, people who know how to use AI are going to replace people who don't know how to use AI. Oh, yeah. When you go to a job interview in the future, they're going to start, they're probably asking today, what are you using ChatGPT for? What AI tools are you using? We started using an AI tool for our SEO called Search Atlas. It's amazing. It'll tell you anything. It'll tell you everything. It'll tell you like, oh, it doesn't like the title to this page. Switch it up. Do this, do that. It'll tell you, oh, the pages are missing some kind of weird links that you don't even know about. Yeah. Click a few buttons and fixes everything. Yeah. No, it's crazy what AI can do. I mean, and then it'll tell you how many hours it saved you. So when it comes to content, what would you say? Short video content's like the number one type of content that's out there?
It depends what you want to do. When it comes to video, there's so many different ways that you can leverage it. Right. The most popular ways are short form video content. So these are the 15, 30-second reels that you see all the time that people are just scrolling. These type of videos are best leveraged when you want awareness, right? You just want to make people aware of who it is you are or what it is that you offer. This is the perfect type of content for that, right? Then you have long form content. This can be blog posts, but my favorite is long form video content, right? Like YouTube videos. And this is really where a lot of people slack because with YouTube videos, the viewer is really getting to know you. They're being nurtured. And that's what a lot of businesses have problems with, especially beginning businesses. They don't know how to nurture the leads that they have, or they don't know how to implement a content strategy that is going to automatically nurture these leads that are coming through the door, maybe through social media. Or maybe they don't have leads coming into the door because they aren't on social media, right? And they're lacking overall marketing strategy. But with long form content, it's amazing because you can create, let's say 10 pieces of long form content. And let's just say these 10 pieces of long form content are 10 high leverage questions that people are asking in your industry, right? Think about like 10 questions that your audience is asking. Create 10 YouTube videos and answer each 10 of those questions, but dive deep, right? Solve that specific problem that question like comes from, right? Make it 5 to 10 minutes long. That's all you got to make it. And what you'll notice is that people will actually reach out because they're binge watching your content. You're solving an issue that they have, right? And so there's always going to be two types of people. There's going to be people who have more time than money. And there's going to be people who have more money than time. And the people who have more money than time, they're going to be like, you know what? This guy knows what he's talking about. Here's my money. And the people who have more time, then money. They're going to apply, if they're serious, the information that you're sharing. And later down the line, you have potential to work with that person when eventually they get to the point where they have more money than time, right? And so YouTube is a game changer when it comes to nurturing clients. Those are my two favorite ways to leverage videos. I would say as well, every brand should have these three types of videos somewhere on the internet. Number one, a brand message video. This is like who you're all about, right? This is essentially like, who are you? Why should I care about you? Why are you different than anybody else? Like, what do you offer? And how are you going to make a difference in my life, the viewer? Then you should have testimonials, right? Like high level testimonials. I'm not talking about iPhone content. I'm talking like professional cameras, professional lighting, professional audio, a high level testimonial where you can actually dive deep into the stories and the success stories that you've been able to accomplish for your clients, right? How has your product, how has your service really transformed the life of this individual?
Yeah,
right?
What's funny is we'll ask people to do that, and very rarely do we get a customer that will say, "Oh yeah, I'll do a video with you." They don't want to do it. They're like, "I don't want to be on camera."
You got to incentivize them somehow. You got to incentivize them, or just build a really good relationship where it's like, hey, I want you to come into the shop. I want to meet up. Like, I really want to ask you a couple questions. It would really mean the most to me if you can just like take some time out of your day, to help me out, right? Over deliver on that client, on that product, on that service, so that they feel inclined to help you out, right? In this way. And
of course,
the last video, Alan, that I recommend every business owner should have is promotional videos. You got to have some type of like short form version of the brand message video, or even just like a hype video to really showcase the product, the service, the value that you have to provide, right? Running ads to these promo videos, publishing them on platforms like TikTok, Instagram, it can really make a difference. And these three videos, we call it the sales trifecta, right? The brand message video, the testimonial video, and the promo videos. These are like the three videos that will really take a business to a next level if you leverage them correctly.
Yeah, I think when you talk about it's, it's interesting because one of the things I noticed like that score high on like YouTube videos is like how to, or what is, like answering a question seems to be like super, super popular. I mean, obviously if someone said, how do I fix my washing machine? Right.
Yeah.
It's easy, right? That's an easy kind of a thing.
Oh yeah.
Or what is a payment gateway, answering, or, what social media, posting software should I use? And then a bunch of reviewers will pop up.
I've read
really
this.
Interesting.
Yeah, I read this article the other day, and it said that the brain actually can't tell the difference between spending time with somebody in person versus watching a video of that person, right? And so if I watch 10 minutes of you, Alan, online through a YouTube video, the brain recognizes that as the same thing as being in person with you.
That's interesting.
Yeah, right. And so when we're talking about, hey, you're a stranger to me, Alan, but you're selling this offer that's $10,000. Why the heck would I pay a stranger $10,000? Right.
Right.
That question is completely different if I've been watching your YouTube videos and my brain can't tell the difference that, hey, you're actually just this online figure that I've never met. You're actually somebody that it's like I'm spending time with. So that's why it's so important. If you create enough content and people watch enough of your content, you're building that trust where it's like, okay, I know this guy knows what he's talking about. He's providing value on YouTube. I've actually applied this value and I've seen results, right? I'm comfortable now paying him $10,000 because he's like my boy. He's like my buddy, right? I've spent time with him. And so, like I said, a lot of people are missing out on the YouTube wave.
One of the things that I've been reading a lot about when it comes to content is, blogging, blogs, and blogs helping rank your site. But one of the other things I've been reading about is like every blog should contain frequently asked questions, and website pages should also have frequently asked questions, because especially when people are using these AI tools, they're usually asking a question. So if your page answers a question or your article answers a question, it's going to pop. You're going to pop up in these AI searches. Have you?
Oh yeah. So we don't do much with SEO. The little bit of knowledge that I do have on SEO is that's a good idea. Like what you just mentioned, 100%. Anything that you can include in your website that people are going to search, even on your YouTube content, even in your captions on Instagram. That's a great idea, because with AI picking up on those things, especially like the algorithm, you just have a much higher chance of you being discovered simply because somebody typed in a question and your piece of content has that question within it, right? So 1,000%, that's going to increase your chances of being discovered. And blog posts alone, it's just signaling to the algorithms, right? The search engines, that you're active, right? And so a lot of people, they have websites, but they build it and then it's done. And that's why they're not being discovered when people are searching for their services, is because there's other websites that are posting consistently on those websites, right? New content, right? Frequently asked questions. And so when you put up the business owner who posts a website and doesn't do anything with it against the person who's posting a blog on their website, consistently uploading content, especially with frequently asked questions, obviously that business owner is going to win way more business than the first one.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Everything is like, oh, if there's a question, that's why I say like the game is changing with AI, ChatGPT, Perplexity. I mean, there's so many, Gemini.
So many. Claude.
Yeah, Microsoft has one, whatever. There's Copilot.
Yeah.
Right. It's amazing, like how all these companies, have there's like AI companion note-taking apps that you can run on your Zoom meetings or whatever you're doing, and then you get a bunch of notes. I even found one where you can take a YouTube video, doesn't have to be yours, could be somebody else's, and basically get a synopsis of it and then turn it into a blog post. It's like crazy.
I know of one. I know of one for sure. I forget what it's called, but there is one that you can do. You can even do that with ChatGPT, right? You can take a YouTube video, and this is what I would do, right? If I'm Alan, let's say I'm you, right? I have a business and like, I don't got time to create YouTube videos, or I don't got time to come up with like a whole blog, right? Which is like most entrepreneurs, because they're busy doing other things. What I would do is I would take a YouTube video. I would just download the transcript of it, which you can do with a bunch of different softwares. You take that transcript, put it in ChatGPT, say, take this transcript and turn it into a blog post. Boom.
Right.
And just like that, you can refine it. And honestly, I wouldn't even do that myself. I would hire a virtual assistant to do that, right? Somewhere in the Philippines, pay them, $4 an hour to do that and just bust out blog posts every day, right? And now you're really leveraging AI and people to streamline and to explode your SEO and your content, your visibility.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's pretty crazy. How like all this AI can help you, use. So like what kind of like, like we use a tool to post all our social media posts, like go in, schedule everything and post it out. We use something called Sprinkler. We've tried a bunch of different ones, that do that. It's super important that people use like tools like that so they can get their social media posts out there.
Yeah.
So if you're going to give somebody, let's say like 3 or 4 tips on branding. So you gave your triangle of videos.
Yeah.
And then what other tips would you give people like on how they can leverage their business and have better content? Like give us like 3 or 4 tips.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of people, they don't even try social media because they think there's enough people doing it, right? What's one more person doing it? Why am I going to go on social media? And that's what holds a lot of people back, believe it or not. And it's so crazy because what people fail to realize is that there's only one version of you. There is nobody on the earth who looks like you, who speaks like you, who has your knowledge, your experiences, your expertise, your skills, etc. Right? And so what you really want to do on social media is show people who you are, building your personal brand through content. So that's number one, is understanding why to get on social media, because you're only one of one, and people need to hear about what it is that you do. Because as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, what you're doing is solving a problem in some way, shape, or form. And so what better way to get in front of the people that you're serving than showing them who you are, right?
Right.
So that's number one. Number two, understand who it is you're speaking to. Who is your target audience? And think about what is it that they want to know. That's what you should be posting on social media. It's simple as that. People overcomplicate it. They think they got to do these dance moves. They got to whip. They got to nay. They got to, like embarrass themselves, right? Like, no, you don't got to do all that. Like, just sit down, have a buddy of yours ask you a couple questions. Each question is a video. That's all you got to do. And you will attract the right people, right? In due time, and you will learn as you go, right? The next thing I would say is batch create your content, right? You want to create your content all, a month's worth all in one sitting, right?
Right.
So when I create content, I script out 30 pieces in one sitting. I film all of the content in one sitting. I send it out to my editors so that they can complete it in a couple days in one sitting, right? And just like that, now I'm not spending every single day creating content, which is a waste of time, right? You're going to burn out so fast. You're not going to be efficient, and it's just going to be draining. Rather than like, hey, one day out of the month, let me sit down and let me just record 30 videos, right? And that way you get in the flow, right? You get in the flow and it's just like boom, 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 boom. And you're good to go for the month. You don't have to worry about it for another 30 days, right? And the last tip I would say is I feel like people aren't leveraging what the market is already showing them, right? Like, it's not hard to come up with ideas. Look at what other people are doing in your industry, in your niche, see what are the videos that are performing well and recreate them, right? Like, don't be afraid to literally do the same exact thing that somebody else is doing. Like, who cares if somebody says, oh, he's copying that person? Who cares? Like, we're talking about getting your message to the right person. Right. Obviously, like, somebody like myself, I'm not going to copy a video word for word. I'm going to add my own spin on it. But for somebody getting started, like, start there. Go ahead and copy that person. Who cares? I guarantee you that person probably copied another person. And that person that they copied probably copied another person. Like, there's this book that says steal like an artist, right? There's no such thing as like a true original idea. All of us are doing things that, we're grabbing inspiration from all these other people. And essentially, we're all just copying each other, right?
It's like I tell other people, they go, oh, I don't know how you do a podcast and talk to other people. And I go, listen, it's kind of cool. And, listen, the first probably 50 I did were horrible. To tell you the truth, they were probably they're not, if I went back and listened to them, I would be like, man, that's so bad.
That's the beauty of it. You gotta get, like, that's the beauty of it. I look back to my first posts and I'm like, oh my goodness, why was I speaking like that? I'm saying stuff I don't even know what I'm talking about, but that's the beauty of it. You just got to take that step forward and eventually you're going to progress. Like, it's inevitable to progress when you just click that post button, when you just go ahead and start batch creating, posting social media clips. You're only going to get better. And I promise you, it is so worth it. Like, I wouldn't trade it for the world. Social media has literally transformed my life. It's allowed me to live in a luxury building here at Miami at the age of 24. It's allowed me to build a 6-figure media company, right? It's allowed me to connect with people all over from the world. And that is the most important thing that I can say. And this is the power of social media, is social media, right? It's the connecting with individuals, because I'll tell you what, like, the only thing that's going to truly open up the doors for you are connections. And so
it's always about connections, establishing relationships with people. You can't be shy, like sales. You can't be shy. Any business owner knows you have to make sales, and you're going to have to pick up the phone, or, like, I like to meet on Zoom with people because I get to see their face. And that way, like, I'm talking to them and we're interacting,
Yeah. That's
and
awesome.
it makes it more personal, because I'm not going to get on an airplane and fly to Atlanta or North Carolina or wherever I'm going to go. I was just working with a business owner in North Carolina. So we had a meeting, and we had a second meeting and a third meeting, and now we're moving forward to where they're getting some. They're getting a new point of sale system through our company.
Nice.
So it's interesting, like how that all works.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like salespeople I talk to are super resistant. They're like, I don't know, I've never done that before. I'm like, well, you have to try it, because if you're not trying it, you're never going to do it. And in the beginning, it's just like talking to somebody in person, except you're on the screen and they're on the screen. You can see each other.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same. You're having a conversation.
Yeah. I would say the number one thing that truly grew my business farther than any other thing in the world was connections, right? And the only reason I was able to make some of these connections online was because I posted really good content. And so I remember this one specific person, her name is Jessie. And I reached out to Jessie like, hey, this is what she engaged with my post. And I reached out, I told her about myself and what I do. I said, hey, I would love to just connect on a Zoom call. I would make it a goal to connect with so many people on Zoom, strangers every single day, just get on a Zoom call and just connect with them. And so Jessie and I connected. She's an amazing person. She's been working with like some high level individuals. And I'm like, you know what, Jessie, let's just keep each other in mind. I'd love to like keep you in my network. And if anybody comes up where, I can send them your way for business, I will definitely do that. And vice versa. If you know anybody who needs content, please send them my way. Like I would love to, send you a commission and, let's just share business with each other. Boom. Like months down the line, Jessie sends me this person named Andre Berto. World time champion boxer, 2-time world Olympian, right? Fought Mayweather. And she's like, hey, this guy needs content. Me and Andre get on a call, boom, signed him as a client. He's been by far one of my most favorite people to work with. He's introduced me to so many celebrities, people I used to sit down and watch on YouTube, on TV, like almost like I used to like glorify these people. Like it was like, just like, wow. And I got to be in like the same room as these people. It was just so amazing. Like how one connection can just take you such a far way and like open up the door for so much opportunity. I worked with literally as a result of working with Andre, I worked with individuals like Aiden Ross. I got to meet people like DDG. I got to meet people like Ski Mask the Slump God, like so many artists, so many people. It was just amazing to be in these same rooms as them and just like honestly realize that the sky is the limit. It truly is. Like if you just put yourself out there, like there is no reason why the doors will not open up for you.
Right. Oh yeah, definitely. You got to put yourself out there. It doesn't matter whether you're knocking on doors or you're making content. If you want to grow your business, you've got to put yourself out there. And sometimes it's a combination of everything that's going on, and you have to do whatever you got to do to get business. So if people want to find you, what's your website?
Oh, yeah. Website is snellproductions.com, SNELLPRODUCTIONS.com, Snell Productions. You can find me on Instagram. That's like my favorite platform at Aiden Snell, AIDEN SNELL. And I look forward to connecting with you guys. If there's anything that I can do to help you guys when it comes to content, when it comes to branding and marketing, that's my forte, my line of expertise. And so I'd love to chat with you guys. And I hope to connect with some of the viewers here online.
Yeah, and Aiden's also on LinkedIn. So if that's your thing, he's there too. And thank you, everybody, for listening to B2B Vault today, sponsored by Nationwide Payment Systems. And I appreciate Aiden coming on the show. And we've got a good time talking about branding, social media, content, super important, AI. It's also one of my favorite things to talk about these days is AI. It's like super, super important that everybody starts to learn about AI, spend $20 a month. Get a paid account on one of these platforms and go for it. So peace out, everybody. Carpe diem. Thank you for listening to B2B Vault. Find us on YouTube, LinkedIn, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever else you listen to podcasts. And hope you have a great day, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Let me